I couldn't be more excited today to be talking to you from Thomastown here in Melbourne, from one of JC's happy places. I'm actually at the Sutton Tools facility in Thomastown with none other than Rob Sutton. His name is on the building, who is director at Sutton Tools. Thank you so much for taking the time today to have a chat with us.
No problem.
There's so many things I want to talk about. You know, I'm a huge manufacturing geek, and I've loved very much working with you and the business over several years. I really want to take a moment here to kind of unpack the story. Most people, you know, in this country have some exposure to Bunnings Warehouse, and certainly anyone like me who has a passing interest in tools, I think has become familiar with the Sutton range. But I don't think people quite realize the scale and the history behind what this organization is and what it's meant.
Sure, I mean, we're a very old company, John, over 100 years, and we're famous for drill bits, and at the retail end of the market, you would see that product everywhere, but our legacy is really highly engineered industrial cutting tools. That's where it started with my great-grandfather and his two sons making bespoke tooling you can't buy from a catalogue. It's got to be made to order. That was how the business started. It progressed into standard tooling through the Second World War, where it became a necessary industry by government decree, and the business grew, and even into the late 60s we got into things like standard drill bits. The business has always focused very hard on benchmarking internationally, and my grandfather and my father and uncle travelled consistently and frequently benchmarking, seeing suppliers and competitors and pursuing the best available technology in the market.
This is part of what I want to unpack, is I love that the history kind of hits you the moment you arrive here. Take it back a step. When you say like necessary industry in World War II, what did that mean? We're talking about like you're actually producing things which are material to the war effort.
Well, that's right. It's what I guess in current parlance is sovereign capability.
Yep.
So without that capability, you'll struggle to build cars, ships, planes, whatever it is. Yep. So it becomes essential. Yep. For the war effort, and that was the case. We were at that time producing a lot of specialised tooling for the fastener industry, for example. Mm-hmm. Rolling dies that roll the screws that go into any military product or any automotive product. So without that capability, production stops.
There's this awareness of the fact that manufacturing domestically in Australia obviously has had a bit of a contraction, a rough time over the years, but you guys literally been building and supplying a critical part of the supply chain in World War II, still here now, still producing here. What's happened in terms of the local demand? Where are your markets now? It's not just the drill bits, right? So is this something where you're now producing and shipping overseas?
Well, a large proportion of what we manufacture in Australia and New Zealand, because we've got multiple manufacturing sites, is exported, and the value of those products is getting higher and higher because of the high cost of manufacture in Australia. Yep. We tend to pursue the most demanding applications. Mm-hmm. And so today our largest market outside of Australia in the Northern Hemisphere is in France, where we have significant accounts with aerospace subcontractors. We recently won a significant contract with supplying the parts to machine turbine blades for jet engines. That's a multi-million-dollar contract that'll go for some years, but it's using really the latest technology available in the world. The most sophisticated multi-axis grinding machines are needed to produce these tools to very tight tolerances, 3 microns, so significantly less than a human hair. Yeah. We've essentially got 3 families of product: drilling, which everyone knows, but we've also got threading, which is significant, and milling. So they all depend, and the user is sophisticated CNC machines.
This is exactly what I want to try and get people to realise, is that this company we associate with, you know, the drill bits and the stuff we can get at the hardware shop. I think when people hear us talk about, you know, European manufacturing, when we hear about that sort of high value, high technology manufacturing as a potential path for the Australian economy, that is literally that, right? We're talking about making, using advanced technology, these bespoke pieces for a very specific micron level accuracy. That's something that Sutton does today.
Yeah, today, and it's a big growing part of our business, and it applies globally. So we've got customers of that ilk throughout Australia, but increasingly, and the larger part of the business is outside of Australia. So, you know, that same application that I alluded to exists in Thailand, in Singapore, in the UK. We had a very successful trial in Italy on a similar application, but for the energy market. In fact, Italy's largest turbine blade producer started to use our product after a significant period of trial and testing. You know, that's a result of really heavy engagement by our commercial and technical teams outside of Australia.
How do you engage with such high technology, high demand, you know, high value buyers all over the world? How are you getting that reach while actual manufacturing is still based so specifically both here and I know in New Zealand?
Yeah, well, we've got multiple manufacturing sites, and that's part of the internationalisation of what we do. So those very sophisticated machines, we've got them in the UK, we've got them in India, we've got them in Holland, we've got them predominantly in Australia. That's where headquarters is still.
So you've expanded your manufacturing base now beyond Australia. We're building things.
We had to in order to grow, and you know, Australia and New Zealand, it's our home market. We have a high share. The ongoing capital investment in our industry is high. We needed access to growing industrial markets, and that's why we acquired a business in the UK that was using the same manufacturing technology we do here in Australia. That gives us the capability to access markets through their network. You know, we make products that they don't, and we complement what they do, and we essentially vertically integrate to these key manufacturing markets.
I feel like the Sutton family and the Sutton Tools story is this real like Aussie lion story, because you talked about vertical manufacturing, you talked about, you know, creating a base for high performance manufacturing in these other regions. And it feels like the story of Australian manufacturing is so often about, you know, falling back and contracting. And actually here we've got this incredible story of expansion and embracing technology.